All right, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Show Choir Nation, the premier podcast of the Homeroom Show Choir Podcast Network. I am your host for tonight, William. Alongside me is my co-host, Ethan, and tonight's guest host, MJ. How are you doing?
Doing fabulous, guys. How are we doing?
It is finally light enough to keep my blinds open and not have a nasty light on overhead. Longtime viewers of the podcast know that my lighting situation this year has just been miserable. So I'm sure it's a welcome break for some of those people. But it's NCAA National Basketball Championship night tonight. Illinois, not one of the squads represented, but thanks for trying, Ethan. Yeah.
Roll Cougs tonight. Roll Cougs. Cougs all the way. Nothing beats culture over everything. And I don't think we've had a podcast episode since our own championship, Will. So
I don't believe so.
I was gonna say I had to ask because it feels so long ago. Congratulations to Carol Magic on winning this year's Show Choir Madness over Solon. Congratulations. Thank you to everyone who came out and voted. It was a fantastic year. I think Will can also agree on this. It was like the smoothest year we've ever had. So I really do appreciate like everyone cooperating and voting. And, we just love doing these little different things, not a lot of people can things like this where you can get some type of competition against choirs from all over the country. You know what I mean?
Well, that used to be the famed Show Choir National Finals.
Exactly, which is coming up. However, like I know it's not a competition, like in the sense of you're on stage. However, given the opportunity to communities to really show out and vote for some of their favorite choirs is actually super cool to see. So congratulations, Carol, much deserved. And we'll definitely be giving them a shout out during our Show Choir Homies in a few weeks.
For sure. A championship on the fan voting side of things and also some winding down championships on the competition stage side of things. First off, we're going to head to California for the recap, the John Burroughs Music Showcase, the last big event in California. Technically, you have the SCVA Spectacular on like May 20th or something, but it's going to be Chula maybe and John A. Rowland and somebody else. But in terms of the heavy hitters, Burbank in Sync, musicianship, and the win here at Burroughs. Los Alamitos Sound Effects, second with showmanship. ALA Evolution making the trip from Utah in third. We see the same caption split as Oceanside on March 29th. We just have different placements. And let's be real, we kind of expected that Burbank would complete the transitive property loop, right? It seems like Southern California has to do that every year.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Like, I feel like regardless of what two choirs it is, they have to flip at some point, whether it's Burroughs and Burbank, LaSalle, Burroughs and LaSalle, at some point they're going to flip over each other. So I actually had LaSalle coming into this with a win just because they're so used to winning. I know I've seen both of their shows via video. I think they're both fantastic. I think the stuff that they're doing in California is just so super cool. Seen two Grenada shows this year, and I love how not Grenada shows, two Truman shows this year, Grenada, Visions, and Burbank. And I love how they're both completely different of each other. And like they're two completely different show designs. Like when you hear like, oh, they're doing a Truman show. Oh, but they're doing a Truman show. Oh, it's gonna be the exact same thing, right? Completely different. I love how now they didn't purposely do this, I don't think, but like going to a completely different side of a movie or a show or a theme and making it your own compared to what another choir is doing is super cool to see in contrast. So shout out to Burbank. This is very, very much deserved. I'm glad that they got their win. LaSalle, this is not a down year for LaSalle, I don't think at all. I think they ran into some super good competition this year, which is going to happen when you are in California, right? Them losing at Show Choir Nationals to Carmel is totally fine because Carmel this year was a horse. So just shout out to Burbank, shout out to LaSalle, and shout out to our Utah group, ALA.
So looking at these shows comparatively, I love The Truman Show, one of my favorite movies of all time. So having two shows being done with that theme this year is such a treat. Burbank can just sing their faces off. They are very talented vocalists, and the way that they just portrayed their show the whole way through is fantastic. On the flip side, Los Al just had obviously the best visuals of the day. They got showmanship. And there's just something special about how it doesn't feel like their show is super intricate this year in the details like some past shows have been. Only two costumes, fantastic lighting like usual.
Mhm.
It feels like they're trying to go back to their roots of some sort. The arrangements are phenomenal. Another Josh Green show. And April James does a fantastic show as well. The fact that Los Al got second to Burbank this part of the season, I'm not too shocked just because of momentum purposes. Like we were saying earlier, it doesn't when you're competing in California, you're either going to be top two, especially if you're one of the big three, and someone's got to lose. So kudos to them for competing this weekend. Can't wait to see. Oh, this was their last competition, wasn't it?
It was.
Well, congratulations on a good season for both schools. I wish I was able to see these shows live just because of how phenomenal they were.
Oh yeah, especially when like Los Al goes into the aisles at the end of their show,
Right.
like and like all that stuff. I couldn't imagine being in the audience for something like that. I just couldn't imagine.
I've been waiting
Certainly an experience.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for someone to do Could Have Been Me as a closer. I remember doing it in my junior year of high school, and it was such a fun song to do. Just seeing someone else at a different caliber doing it, way off the charts. Loved it.
Absolutely. I think one other thing we can draw from this advanced division is that I think there were questions after last year of do we just have a big 2+1? Because Burbank, generally, when they went up against the other two members of the big three, they didn't really win a lot. They lost showmanship to La Cueva. I think this year showed us unequivocally that we very much still have a big three in California, that Burbank is here. Burbank may not travel as much, Burbank not compete as much, but we still certainly have a big three, and any of these groups are capable of toppling any of the other two on any given Saturday.
Right.
Moving on to Advanced Mix 2, the results of this one: in first place with musicianship, Cypress High Voltage. Second place, Boulder Creek Broadway Bound. Third place was showmanship, Valley Vista Vocal Thunder. And fourth place, Chaparral Platinum Effects. Cypress, 1 week after a huge second at Oceanside, they come around and they take the division win here at Burroughs. Quite the end of the season for a group that just moved up to advanced at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, for sure. It's huge for them, because this division is just one of those that just goes. Honestly, I feel like every single division in California, one way or another, is just at each other's necks all the time. Like it's a new choir every year, right? You never going into the season, you're like, you hear things like, oh, I hear this group's really going to take a step up. And I think Cypress is one of those groups that really took a step up this year. Looking at this, Boulder Creek, have to give a huge shout out to them. I feel like they're having a fantastic year. Like I just said, this division is always so cutthroat. The fact that they've had like 2 or 3 solid placements now in California is super, super good. And then, of course, I think the thing that kind of sticks out is Valley Vista. They're having one of those years where it's like, I mean, just from the outside looking in, like really good in one category, like super, super good in showmanship, clearly winning showmanship, best choreography, right? However, Boulder Creek and Cypress might have just been able to sing a little better. But again, if the caption split is like that, it's super, super tight. I've also heard from people like Valley Vista has really, really nice moments in their show. So, it's just something that sticks out to me. I don't know about you guys, but it's definitely something that I read when I look at these results.
For sure. Being the naive New Englander here, I don't really pay attention to California since it's so late in the season for us. This is like the middle of the season for them, and I'm show choired out by this point in time. I am very familiar with Boulder Creek. They've come out to New England a handful of times. They used to be choreographed by some folks up here, and they're one of those groups that can really sing their faces off all the time. And I've been able to see actually more of the intermediate mixed California groups rather than these advanced tier. They don't really get to travel out as much. But congratulations to Cypress and Valley Vista.
Awesome. Boulder Creek, again, is another choir who I believe just moved up to advanced for this year. I heard that they were insane in exhibition. They weren't really able to make any headway in advanced when they competed at Valley Vista, but then going out to California and placing above Valley Vista, which I don't think a lot of people saw coming. A great feather in the cap for them. I think we now have 3 very, very legitimate programs out of Arizona. We have Boulder Creek, who was just second here. We have Valley Vista, who was just third here. And we have Horizon, who made finals over Noblesville at Brownsburg. Or was that Avon? I think that was at Avon.
Yeah.
No, that was Brownsburg. That was Brownsburg. Anyways, I cannot recall a time in show choir history when we've been able to say, wow, we have 3 incredibly great groups coming out of Arizona. And then when you talk about the other programs like Shadow Ridge, they don't get out and travel as much anymore, but they made some waves as well at the Boulder Creek competition. And then you have a couple other programs that are kind of bubbling under there as well. I feel like in a couple of years, we might have to start talking about a lot more Arizona groups a lot more frequently.
Which we would love to see, right? And maybe ACDA could have a big part in that would happen, you know. I heard Burroughs went on and put a fantastic show, like an amazing show, you know, a lot of bubbling going on, like what could come from this. And I'm glad that we had a representative like John Burroughs go down there and try to spread the love of show choir, get some more directors involved into it. The more in Arizona, the better. I think Arizona could like really easily become a like, no matters where you are in Arizona, right? But like almost like a destination competition type of place. I could definitely see people going out in the future being like, this year, let's go to, I don't know what goes on in Phoenix. I've never been there, but like, let's go down to Valley Vista, you know, they're not too far from Phoenix. Let's go to compete there and have a day in the desert down there. So I think that this scene could really, really, really grow really fast. And it's super impressive.
For sure. Moving down to intermediate mix, unless we have any other thoughts.
I was just going to say the Arizona groups kind of remind me of the Colorado groups right now. Colorado is definitely one of those states that's growing with the show choir population. We don't really see much of them because they're kind of more isolated right now. But like how Arizona started off with just Boulder Creek, I could definitely see other states around that area start to bubble and become hubs of themselves.
Yeah, totally. I think, there are a few, like I would almost put Oklahoma in that bucket as well.
Right.
Where there are a few scenes that are just kind of bubbling up right now. And perhaps with just a little push in the right direction, we start just kind of seeing an explosion of stuff, which again, makes our job as people who cover the entire country harder, but we welcome the challenge very much so. Moving to intermediate mix, the result of this one, Los Alamitos Connection taking a rare at this point 2-caption win with both music and show. Pacifica Encore second, Oceanside Soundwaves third, Helix HLX fourth, Valley Vista Voltage fifth, and Valencia just for show sixth. Any thoughts as we kind of wrap up our Burroughs coverage?
So this is huge, right? I mean, this is like Pacifica undefeated coming into this, right? I believe that's right. Los Alamitos, I know that they've won every single one except for one. I think they lost to John Burroughs. But like Pacifica is a choir who just beat the top group in the division we were just talking about, Cypress, right? So this is just a huge result for Los Alamitos going into next season, building on it through tryouts, so on and so forth. You know, Pacifica, there has to be somewhat like, darn, we couldn't finish the job. You want to go undefeated once you win 5 comps, right? You want to finish the job. So, you know, there is a little bit like that. However, you know, that Los Alamitos program is almost one of one with how many choirs that they have and how much success that they have. So, you know, nothing to hang your head on, right? But just a huge, huge congratulations to Los Alamitos Connection.
Yeah, Paul and Ethan, the same thing. Just the fact that Los Al was able to get both caption awards huge win for them, especially for the fact that you said Pacifica has been undefeated this whole entire season. I'm kind of intrigued to see if this will create some momentum within the intermediate level groups. Do you guys know what the criteria is to differentiate between advanced mixed 2 and intermediate?
I believe it's just director's choice.
Oh, is it?
I don't believe there's any set criteria. If there's anyone from California or the West Coast watching right now, and we're wrong, put it in the comments section, because none of us are out there. I could call up our California guy, but I don't want to be embarrassed if he doesn't pick up. So I believe it's just director choice in terms of where they think that their choir is right now, because there are some pretty small advanced groups and some pretty big intermediate and novice groups.
Interesting. Yeah, overall, like I was saying earlier, I don't really pay attention to California kind of groups this late in the season for me, but overall, now I kind of have something to go watch.
Yeah, for sure. A group that I do want to shout out here as well is Oceanside Soundwaves. This is a group that kind of took it on the chin multiple times at the beginning of the season, which is just not really characteristic of them. I feel like in a good season, they're kind of near the top of that intermediate pile, but clearly that's a group that grew throughout the year and rebounded from a couple of tough placements, and is third behind a very solid Los Al group and a very solid Pacifica group as well. We're going to jet from the West Coast to the East Coast to the Waltham Eastern Show Choir Festival. The results of this one: in the large mixed division, third place, Tantasqua Encore. Second place with best choreography, Mantino Magic. First place with best vocals, Lowell Sound Stations. Toss it to the New England.
Ooh. So I'm so happy for Lowell. They have been, I don't want to call them the underdogs of New England, but they are definitely one of those groups that was not paid attention to enough. I was lucky enough to do a clinic with them about a week and a half ago, and those kids just worked their butts off. The whole entire time they were turned on, ready to take notes, make changes, because they really wanted it. Coming into this week, I know that they worked very hard on vocals, and it definitely paid off. They got best vocals. And then on top of that, the fact that they were able to win their first grand championship as a large mixed group in the program's history. The program's been around for 40 years. One of my good friends, Evan Caverly, is the director of Lowell, and I'm so proud of every aspect that they did in this season. I just know that it's upwards from here. On top of that, I wasn't able to be there in person, but I was able to watch Mantino, and those kids can dance. They are phenomenal. I think this was the first time that they didn't use like the magic sign that they usually
Wait. It didn't travel with them?
No, they didn't.
That might have been the first show ever they've never had it. Like, ever.
Like, actually.
They brought it to Wisconsin multiple times. I think in 2015 and in 2024, they brought that to Wisconsin.
It was the first time that I haven't seen it as their backdrop.
Wow.
I know it's like newsworthy, but it was kind of wild.
This is going in the comps of the week recap, man.
Yeah,
this is like arguably the biggest story to come out of the weekend.
So between that and then also Tantasqua coming in third. Not the placement that I think they were expecting to have after not having the season that they wanted. It was something new for them. They took on a serious show design instead of the creative show designs that they've done in the past, like Jeopardy, Bingo. They did the Giving Tree this year. And I think for the kids to get into it, they needed a little bit more of a lighthearted show to get into before jumping into something so deep and heavy like The Giving Tree and what it means. It was one of my favorite childhood books, and I feel like they did a good job.
Actually, it's not a book; it's a poem anthology.
Poem anthology, yes. I think they did a phenomenal job, but it just didn't get to where they wanted to by this point in the season. But yeah, I am so excited to see what Lowell does next year. I'm very excited to now be a part of that family of show choirs. And also just a little tidbit, their treble group was finally able to do their closer at this part at this competition. They haven't been able to do all season. And I loved every second of it. And then on top of that, they were able to do their costume change for the first time this season. And those jumpsuits were awesome.
All right. We'll toss it to the Illinoisan of this podcast. Mantino Magic, no backdrop, second place. Michael Talamani scores the best choreography caption over Stephen Todd.
And they didn't get a gold medal. What are we talking about? The only reason you go to New England is to get a gold medal. No, I am extremely proud of Mantino. This is the highest placement that they had all season. I know that it was only 3 groups, but however, these are 3 very, very good groups. So it's like nothing to hang your head on. A best choreography award. Love it. Michael Telmani, fantastic job. Sean Hoffman, fantastic job. Our director of the year last year for our homies, just continuing success within that program. No backdrop is so weird to me. I don't even want to see it. It didn't happen. I wish I never heard it. But just fantastic. I love that they, took this challenge on because, not a lot of people would go out this far. It's too big for their britches, right? So the fact they go into uncharted territory, put on a performance like this and snag a major caption is just huge. I'm one proud Illinoisan.
These small mixed results, unless we have any other thoughts.
Just one in particular. So I know that New England is sometimes very underrated on the national level of show choirs. But I think that this is just a testament to show that New England groups can go up against some people who they don't normally get to see on a regular basis. It's a true testament of how amazing some of these groups can do, especially as they're growing programs and changing. Like we saw Daniel Hand at Show Choir Nationals 2 weeks ago make finals for the first time as a New England group. Waltham making finals at FC. I think it's just a true testament now being past COVID that New England is going to continue to be on the rise.
Awesome. Yeah, I certainly would agree with that sentiment as well. We're definitely seeing a lot more energy flow into the New England region. Small mixed in first place with best vocals and best choreo, Natick West Street Singers. Second place, Oliver Ames Panache. Third place, Shepherd Hill Fantasy. Thoughts on small mixed?
I'm kind of shocked with a couple of things. One, congratulations to Natick. They are definitely a choir to watch out for right now. I think they're on the cusp of becoming a large mixed group for next year, which will definitely be very interesting. I think they had 37 members or so. And to be considered large mix in New England, it's 40. So adding them to the mix next year is definitely going to be interesting. Oliver Ames, this being their, I think, only 3rd competition of the year, snagging 2nd place after having a slow start of the season, with only doing 4 numbers, no costume change, and also only having 2 suits, 2 men on stage. There's something about what they're doing that's just working. I know their director team is trying to recruit like hell. So hopefully next year they're going to be growing back to where they were pre-pandemic. And then on top of that, Shepherd Hill getting 3rd. I was able to catch their show on the live stream, and I hate clowns, but I will watch it. It was really, I think that was one of their better design shows that they've had in the past couple of years. They're doing Terratober's and JJ Jones's choreography very, very, very well. And hopefully next year they're able to regain some members so they can get back to large mix as well. And that band that they have is amazing. They actually won best band. It's the same band who plays for their treble group, and they got best band during the day. So good. But yeah, very interesting to say the least on the small mix side.
Yeah, Ethan, any thoughts from you?
No, yeah, I think you touched on a lot that I was gonna like bring up. Just huge result for all of our aims, right? Just huge result. I feel like they went up against Dartmouth earlier in the year, and Dartmouth got the best of them. I don't know though. It's been a minute since I've looked at it. Like, also, it's just like a best band didn't even place at this competition, so this is like just it's one of those competitions where it's just so tight in that tier 2. And it's kind of funny. It's like I look at all these names in this division, and I'm like, they had success somewhere at some time, and I remember it. Like I truly do remember it because like sometimes I can really easily think it's Leo Meister's year or Dartmouth's year or Somerset Berkeley year, And this year, it just like Nanick is just keep on rolling. They just are the steady hand at the top right now. It will be super cool to see them jump up next year if they do make that jump. It'll be super.
It will be. I think you can cut in just a moment here, but I think if Natick moves up next year, obviously Shep is trying to recruit. Oliver Ames is trying to recruit. I don't know where Somerset's numbers are at, but I feel like those are 4 groups that all could be on the fringe of moving up to large mixed, and a 10-group large mixed platoon in New England feels very different than a 6-group large mixed platoon.
Correct. I think next year numbers are going to be a little wonky. So I know they didn't compete this weekend, but I believe South Windsor is graduating 27 seniors.
Wow.
Yeah, and they have 51.
Wow.
So that's a group that.
What does their middle school feeder program look like?
They don't have a feeder program right now. I know that there's talks about bringing it back. They used to have one.
Good luck.
So Daniel Hand had 61 this year. I don't see them dropping. Waltham has now have 2 groups. They have a prep group that has suits and dresses. So they have the feeder program coming up for Music Unlimited. I don't see them dropping into small mix. The only other groups that might potentially drop into small mix are Lowell. Lowell's graduating a lot of seniors this year as well. Tantascwa might. Tantascwa's numbers haven't been the same for a little bit. I know that they're trying to recruit as well. So, I mean, it's never the same in New England. It changes on a yearly basis of who's going to be in large versus small. But what we're starting to see now are the small mixed groups truly trying to build their programs. Like I was saying, Natick growing to 37 this year after having usually 25 to 26 kids is amazing. It's a true testament, especially with the director change and having having new choreographers and all that kind of stuff shows that they're willing to invest in their program. And then also I spoke too soon. I don't think Lowell is going to be dropping into small mixed. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting time to say the least. Hopefully we see some more large mixed groups next year.
Yeah, I think certainly when you have a group of directors that are committed to building their programs, and because that's something that's sorely needed in a lot of places as well. Like I just today found that a group in Missouri is going to have a new director next year. And I'm like, wow, that's their 4th director in 5 years after the pandemic. And it's so hard to build any kind of success with turnover like that. So if we have directors who are going to be in it for the long haul and choreographers who are committed to building some great products, I'm very, very good. All right. And we will move on to the Show Choir Canada Championships. The results of this one in the groups division: in second place, the famous School of the Performing Arts. And in first place, the Music Academy of Western New York. In the high school division, in third place, St. George's. In second place, Pickering. And in first place, Our Lady of Lourdes. And in the middle school division, in second place, All Saints. And in first place, the Music Academy of Western New York. And the overall grand championship goes to Roar, the middle school group from the Music Academy of Western New York, for a competition that no one was paying attention to. This one did provide some pretty slicey, dicey results.
Yeah, I would. So first off, shout out America. It just is what it is. Shout out America. this wasn't the American choir that I didn't think was gonna win it. But hey, you will take it. We'll take it. Just congratulations. Like, I know that the product at these show choir Canada championships is just completely different from anything I've ever seen before. Like, it is a choir they're seen as more on the side of Glee. However, like the showmanship that they put out and the productions that they put out from videos I have seen is really, really good. And it's kind of impressive. I know, Michael, you've been on the side of it more, but like tracks, the way that they use tracks is super cool. And, it's just something you don't see in the Midwest. So I saw a video of a few groups. Shout out All Saints Catholic Flair, because the only group theme I know, and it's Hunger Games. Sweens did a Hunger Games show back in like 2012 or something, but super cool to see Hunger Games still around. So shout out All Saints Catholic Flair. And yeah, it's kind of just what I got to take from it. The only other thing that's kind of sticking out to me is in that tier 2 division. I thought this was probably St. George's to run away with. Not the case. Our Lady of Lourdes Catholic, the pitches just absolutely showed up. Same with Pickering. Just phenomenal day by those two choirs, because St. George has been here for years, and they've competed with the best of tier 1, and that includes Splash, who was not at this competition this year. So fantastic event. I love that it kind of like wraps up our season, because you're like, oh, here's just a whole new thing of show choir that you would never see unless it was during this time of the year. Like, you would never pay attention to it. It would just get lost in the mix of madness that happens every single week in the middle of the year. So I'm glad it happens at this point. Hopefully we get more American wins. Hopefully see a Burbank back there again. I don't think they would after getting a second place, whatever year that was. But, getting a choir here, like from, I don't know, just a random choir. Like, what if Mantino went up here? It'd be super cool to see how they would compete at a competition like this.
I think it would be. MJ, this is now 2 competitions this year that a middle school group has GC'd over a handful of high school groups.
I've had the pleasure of being able to see Roar a couple times now. They definitely can perform. Not what I was expecting. I know that their high school group is very, very, very good this year. They had, I don't know if they placed at Andover, but I know that they performed super, super well. They use one of my good friends, Stefan Macklin, as their choreographer. And he's just been cooking this year, and I can imagine that what he gave the kids up in New York was on par with what he gave to Euclid. So I don't know if I have words to say about middle school group beating out all these high schoolers. I guess I have to go watch their show now. But congrats to them on being able to do that.
Yeah, I don't really know what else to say about that. I expected St. George's to do well, and they didn't. That's fine. I mean, shout out to Our Lady of Lourdes for winning the division. It's their first division win since 2017. So that's a long time in between division wins, especially when you only compete once a year. I bet it makes it feel a little bit longer than it actually is. We'll move on to the last recap of the week. This is the Rouse Capital City Classic. The results of this one, only one high school division. In third place, Hebron Harmony. In second place with best choreography, Fort Worth Southwest Effect. And in first place with best vocals, Timber Creek Aerodynamics. Ethan, you were on the show and we talked about this last week. I'll let you lead it off.
The group that's one letter off from LeBron did not win. So sorry, Hebron.
Sorry, Chris.
Sorry, Chris. But Hebron, this is a great placement for them. I know a bunch of us had them in that third spot, but the fact that they were able to hang on against all these other Texas schools is just amazing for them. Like, you always talk about first place, but there is something about hanging on to that last spot that is just huge for a choir. So wanted to give them some love. Not the result I thought was going to happen, right? Just you have to give all the props in the world to Timber Creek, right? First win ever, huge for them, especially in a scene that is not that old, but I feel like they were one of the first choirs around. Will, you might want to fact check me on that, like close enough.
They've been around forever, yeah.
Yeah, so this is just huge for them. Not as long as Lowell, of course, who got their first tier 1 win, but just amazing. Shout out Aerodynamics. The fact that it was a caption split just shows how close it was Fort Worth Southwest. Just an amazing program that has had so much success this year. They fall one step below Timber Creek. Still don't know event judges, and I heard that was kind of an issue.
Oh, hold on. I have them.
Oh my goodness! Of course you do.
Hold on. I'm about to come in clutch right here. So the judges were Beth Burrow, Isaiah Choice, and Jessica Waterhouse.
Okay.
And that is the voice teacher at Rouse High School, the choreographer for the Rouse High School show choir, and a regular high school choir director. Okay,
nice. At least
some
we
things
have
are better left unsaid. You asked for it, so I gave it to you.
No, I know. I'm glad we have them. I'd rather have them than not have them, right? There's still some competition out there where I feel like the results have happened and there's no judges in, and it's like Midwest competitions. Like people go to these. Like I know they do. How would we not know? So the fact that we were able to come around to some Texas event judges is great. So just wrapping up, just huge win for Timber Creek. Of course, you get your first win ever. All flowers to you, regardless how you got it. You are the one standing at the top of the podium. You did a fantastic show. Fort Worth Southwest, of course, not the result you wanted. However, you still get a major caption, and that just shows how close it was. And Hebron, your name is close to Lebron. So congratulations. Super cool.
Yeah. MJ, only 3 placements, Texas Show Choir. Anything you want to add, or are you taking a pass on this one?
I'm going to take a pass on it for right now. I think Ethan really got it. I mean, I've been able to catch Aerodynamics before, and they are pretty on par with becoming a powerhouse within Texas. Hopefully within the next couple of years, we'll see a lot more from them, and hopefully Texas as a whole.
Yeah, I thought this one was super interesting because both of the top 2 groups were kind of on the come up. Fort Worth Southwest was 6th at their most recent competition, and Timber Creek actually missed finals at their most recent competition. I feel like this is something that we saw a fair bit of this year, was groups missing 1 week and then GCing the next week. And I would like to think that I started the trend when my group did that in 2017. I know I can't claim credit for that, but going from 10th place, we didn't just miss finals. We were 10th place in prelims 1 comp and then GC the next comp. That's what going to easy comps does, all you directors and schedule deciders out there. But huge for Timber Creek. You got to feel for Fort Worth Southwest. They wind up with 3 second-place finishes this year without a win. It would have been their first win as well. So you do got to feel for them. But Southwest, one of the biggest programs in Texas, 2 groups, a traveling group as well. They went all the way up to Sioux Falls, South Dakota this year. And so I would place a wager that a very friendly wager that does not involve any real money. Call the hotline. But I would place a very friendly wager that we're going to be hearing a lot more out of Fort Worth Southwest in the years to come. It is somehow 45 minutes past the hour already. So we are going to slide right into our previews for this upcoming week. We have 3 competitions that kind of end the mainline show choir competition season before the Easter weekend. We have a couple more hanging out after this weekend. We have the Colorado State Festival. We have SCVA. We have, I don't know, maybe something else here or there. But the first preview that we will cover is the North Carolina State Show Choir Contest. This one, we have 5 high school groups competing. We have the Voyager Bull City Lights, Lake Norman Show Formants, South Granville Shades of Blue, South Granville Cordon Blues, and the Triton Showstopper Show Choir. Voyager has won this event every year that it has been competitive since 2019. So the discussion starts at, can anybody knock them off?
Maybe.
No, I'm
kidding.
Maybe.
So,
not a yes, not a no. Maybe.
Shout out to South Granville for putting two groups into this. It's just there's not a lot of North Carolina 2 choir programs out there, so just have
there's
to show.
Exactly one.
That's what I mean. So I had to show them love for putting two choirs in it. It's just the fact of a program that is growing clearly. and a scene that is growing clearly. Never see. I don't. It's been a while since I've seen a high school day one instead of a middle school day one, but the middle school following up day two at a competition. So shout out North Carolina Show Choir State Classic for that. It's got to be Voyager, right? It's got to be Voyager. But as soon as you think that Chords of Blue would come in and just absolutely steal one from you, is what I think. I don't know enough about Lake Norman or Trenton, so steady hand. I'm staying with Voyager. So let's go Bull City Lights.
MJ, anything at all? Okay.
Sorry.
There we go. We're good. Any predictions? Any thoughts? Or is North Carolina just kind of a bit of a weird show choir vacuum?
North Carolina is so weird, guys. So they kind of remind me of Maine. Maine has show choir.
Yeah.
But they don't do show choir like other New England states. That's how I kind of feel about North Carolina right now. I think that they're starting to become more competitive-esque. The fact that they're growing as its own little circuit, you know.
Can I cut in here?
Yeah.
Real ones remember that Voyager was going to host a comp in 2020 or 2021 that got canceled by COVID, and then it never came back.
I remember that.
So I was actually really excited for North Carolina on the edge of the pandemic, and then regrettably their state festival has gotten a bit smaller in recent years.
At least they have one though, right?
Yeah.
At least they have one. Yes.
At least they have one. So hopefully, again, another circuit that will start to grow. I think every single state needs show choir at this point. The fact that not everyone does is such a shame.
Slowly but surely, it's trying to make its ways. Surely but surely. Slowly but surely.
I will also agree with no one is going to upset Voyager. Give me Voyager, Lake Norman, South Granville mixed, South Granville girls, and then Triton as your 5. The Jenks Trochella event, this one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. In the championship mixed division, Broken Arrow Tiger Rhythm. In the prep mixed division, Durant Sound Etc., El Dorado Springs Sound Collage, Guyman Tiger Tonality, and Mustang Backstage Broncos. In the single gender division, Broken Arrow Tiger Mystique and Edmund Santa Fe Finale. I have a question to the other 2 people on this podcast. How many names did you recognize out of that lineup?
1, 2, 3. I got about 4, I think. I got about 4. I've definitely heard of Backstage Broncos because I remember talking about them last year at this time. So I definitely do remember them. And, of course, I remember El Dorado Springs. Okay. I think it was the El Dorado Carmel was trying to find. So
yes.
So
I believe that is correct.
They never found him, though, I don't think they ever found him. Yeah, this is going to be a very interesting competition. This is a competition that won our best named competition. This name is just one of the best. Jenks Coachella. It's just awesome name. So shout out Jenks. Another shout out I want to give is to some of our judges. We got David, Dominic, Dalton, and Dallas. In the Kalen. So I just had to give that a shout out.
Oh my Lord.
This should be back-to-back Broken Arrow groups at the top 2. If that's how this competition works, which I think it does. So I will take those 2. I'm going to take Tiger Rhythm at the 1, Tiger Mystique at the 2. And I think I got to roll with, it's either the other 2 choirs I know, right? El Dorado or Mustang. I think I'm going to run with the Mustangs. I'm going to run with the Mustangs. I'm going to go Backstage Broncos at the 3, El Dorado at the 4.
MJ, do you even want to put in predictions for this one?
This was probably not the best week for me to be on, but I think
hey, you were able to give us lots of insight into Waltham.
You know, we're here for a good time. We're here for a good time.
Yes.
Question. I have one more question.
Yes.
How many middle school? Wait, we have Tiger Fever, Tiger Harmony, Tiger Legacy, Tiger Tempo, Tiger Tones, Tiger Valor.
Did you say Tones?
It's supposed to be Tones. I said Tones. I was rushing through. What is that? 7?
Welcome to Broken Arrow, where we have a bajillion middle schools and 1 high school.
7? It makes so much sense why their program is what it is, right? It's like so much talent is on that stage. Is gonna be on that
People
stage.
forget that Broken Arrow is like the size of Carmel. People just
Right.
don't know it because Oklahoma doesn't do a ton of show choir. At least that gets into the public eye. But like Broken Arrow school wise is like legitimately the Carmel of Oklahoma.
It's just crazy. And it starts to make somewhat sense why Broken Arrow, even though they are in Oklahoma where there's only a few other choirs, right? Why they are this good.
Right. They're more of a what's it called, marching band state, or like color guard kind of state.
Yep.
But the program's been around for 10 plus years at this point. And they've always,
I believe we're getting closer to 15. I think this is year number 14 for them.
Yeah. So when they shifted from using the Eklunds to
Lexi and Braxton,
you could definitely see a shift in how they do show choir now, like truly the story-esque shows, and it works for them. I know it's Japanese inspired.
It is not actually. I said that in
not?
podcast. I said that in error. It is the Deathly Hallows inspired.
No, it is not.
That
is the line we were given from Broken Arrow people.
Whoa, I watched the show. It's really good. I'm not saying I understand what the theme was, but it was really good. There's three different personalities.
I thought it was Japanese inspired.
Yeah.
But now I need to go rewatch it.
Maybe
all these shows.
Well, maybe it's because the costumes. When you look at their picture, like it kind of looks like they're wearing the traditional like samurai type of stuff. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but you know what I mean. But like, the show was. I watched it, and the whole time I was like, wow! Like throughout the whole show, it's just so consistent, so strong. I don't think there's a one point where they dipped at all.
Mm-mm. No, so I definitely see them getting the one at this competition just because of how clean it has been this whole entire season. I haven't actually been able to see any of these other groups, but just going off the names, let's go with El Dorado Springs in second and Mustang, Backstage Broncos in the in the 3. And then I haven't been able to catch Broken Arrow Tiger Mystique at all. But I've usually loved their shows in the past, so I can imagine that this year is no different.
Yeah. This one, very interesting because you have one nationally known and renowned show choir program. This is actually year number 15 of show choir at Broken Arrow, although they only went to fame events for the first 3 of those years. So in terms of running a competition schedule and a kind of defined season, this is 12 for Broken Arrow. But I feel pretty confident this is going to be a Broken Arrow one too. Give me Tiger Rhythm, Tiger Mystique, and then Sound Etc. was decent at the Enid contest last month. So give me Durant in 3rd and give me Mustang in 4th. And I know as much about this as anyone else. So we're going to close the book on that and head to the Fame Finals. The lineup for this one in the single gender division, the Ambition from Northwest Rankin High School and the Allure from Northwest Rankin High School. In the mixed division, the Ambassadors from Northwest Rankin High School, Gold from Norris High School, 14 Karat Gold from Grand Island Northwest High School, and Chamber Singers from Blue Valley High School. We have the Battle of the Golds in the Nebraska choirs. We have one from Kansas in Blue Valley, and we have one from Mississippi in Northwest Rankin. Please discuss.
So I'm just on the judges thing today. We haven't known judges for this event since 2019. That's just a crazy thing to me. I looked back. We haven't known them since 2019. So just a little heads up on that. I have seen or I've been in proximity of some of these shows, so I might know a thing or two going into this competition. Blue Valley is the choir I'm going to be keeping my eye on. I think they've had some lows, I feel like, in the past few weeks. However, I've seen them at their high. Like when I saw them beginning of the year, they came out at Troy was just a fantastic show. I was lucky enough to see it. It's kind of cool. It's just so weird because they start so early, it feels like, and then they're all the way up to this point, right? But I'm very excited to see how their show has developed over time, and if it's enough to grab a win here. Because if they can grab a win here, that'll just be huge. Plus, I heard they're going to Buc-ee's because that was one of the memes I was sent in. So maybe that can give them some hope. Shout out Madison Central. Speaking of Madison Central, who's gone up against Madison Central and Northwest Rankin?
Wow. Okay. All top 10 all-time transition.
Thank you. Northwest Rankin is a unit. This is a choir. Like the one choir I missed during the whole day at Brandon, I somehow missed them. However, I talked to so many people, and they were like, Northwest Rankin's vocals are just so top notch, and their showmanship is just so cool. Going off of the ambassadors a little bit, show of the day might be the ambition. I got to see the ambition. They I don't know how many guys they have on stage, maybe 14, I think, maybe 13.
Yep.
However, like they just go out there and have so much fun. I don't think they do more than 4 numbers from what I remember, maybe 3. And like I just remember story time. There's this one guy front and center for like everything. However, like he would forget the choreo maybe 25% of the time. But like he was just like a showstopper in the sense of how he like rebounded. So random, but I just had to give him a shout out. Northwest Rankin, the Alert, they actually have a connection to Mount Zion this year. Besides beating Left Femmes, they have Left Femmes set, so that's super cool. They're doing a Barbie show this year.
Fun.
I think they could have a chance to maybe take a spot for maybe like Norse Gold. Now again,
no finals. No finals.
Oh, no finals. So good catch. I think they're going to win this division easily. The Allure. No offense to the ambition. However, I think it's just so interesting seeing these choirs go up against each other. I think a great Blue Valley can take it. However, just like the past couple of competitions, they've kind of slipped. It feels like I feel like they got a 4th place out of Southwest Missouri competition. But again, it was great competition. Like went up against some fire groups. So I just don't know where I want to put 14 Karat Gold in this whole shebang of groups. I think they're the one choir where I'm like, where do I want to put them? So I think as of Monday, I am going to go with Northwest Rankin at the 1 with choreography. I'm going to go Blue Valley in the 2 with vocals. And I'm going to go Grand Island Northwest in the 3. That is probably so wrong because I think Grand Island actually has a shot of winning this thing. I really do. But I think the top 3 can win this competition. And knowing Fame and where it's at in this time in 2025, I would not be surprised at any result, to say the least. So I would not be. Yeah. It's like Shaq on the Celtics. It's like it's what it is. It's like in 2025, it's Fame 2025 Celtics Shaq. If you get that reference, you get that reference.
Yeah. Oh man. Wow. Okay, MJ, do you want to toss your hat in for predictions on this one?
Just because I need to go check quickly, all 4 of these groups competing in the mixed division have been all over the board across this whole entire season.
All of them super streaky. None of them
all
consistent.
Over the place.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is 14 Karat Gold. I didn't realize they were choreographed by Dwight and Ellie Jordan. Had no idea that they had a group out in Nebraska, like at all. So between that, I was able to catch Blue Valley earlier this season on a live stream, I believe. They were doing the Peter Pan show, correct?
Yes.
They had some beautiful, beautiful, beautiful moments throughout that show. So I'm kind of with you, Ethan, on saying that they're the ones to watch for this. Norse had a choreographer change this year with going with Ben Eklund for the first time ever. So again, we're starting to see those kinds of ebbs and flows of programs shifting around with having new choreographers, new directors across the board. And then I love the Ambassadors. They're one of my favorite Southern groups to watch. And they just won their division at Brandon. So does that outweigh the wonky season that everyone else is having? I don't know. Yeah. I think I would put Blue Valley in the 1, let's put Northwest Rankin in the 2, 14 Karat in the 3, and Gold in the 4 for this, and then Allure over Ambition for single gender.
People forget that 14 Karat Gold is a Dwight Jordan group. It is the most random Dwight Jordan group out there.
No, it is.
In my opinion.
Yeah, it is. It used to be Milton. Now it's.
Please don't speak of the Milton Dwight Jordan era. We don't talk about that in Wisconsin. Anyways, yeah, man. So Ethan, I kind of got to echo your sentiment. Like, if they have a good comp, I think 14 Karat Gold wins this thing. It's so hard for me to bet against the Blue Valley, just because I believe in Sam Dollin's supremacy, and I will at the very least cash Blue Valley in first with vocals. I'll take Grand Island Northwest second with choreo, and also show design. If they award it, it's Fame, so I'm pretty sure they award like 7 billion captions.
Probably will.
And then Northwest Rankin in third, and Norris in third, and Northwest Rankin in fourth.
Who's going to get the Fame award? Who's going to get the Fame award? Is it going? Who do you think is going to be Will?
The Fame award will obviously go to Jeff Vildahl from Grand Island Northwest.
Okay.
I think
right there.
If Sam Dollins hasn't won it, then he might be due up. Also, if Wes Hansmeyer is retiring from Norris, which he's certainly not, and I just made that up because he's been there for a long time. But if I guess Wes Hansmeyer maybe. But Jeff Vildahl has also been around the block a few times because I believe he was at Grand Island before Northwest. So essentially we're looking at three directors, two in Wes Hansmeyer and Jeff Vildahl with like very long service tenures, and then another two in Sam Dollins and Tony Keeler that have been around for a while, just not as long. I think I'll stick with Grand Island Northwest for the Fame Award.
So just one little tad bit. I just, scrolled back a few years, just like going off of history of Fame Show Choir Finals, 14 Karat Gold won this in 2020, right? Was best choreography, and they had both best female vocalist and performer. They beat Uniondale, who had best vocals. But then in 2023, Norris, I believe, attended, and they got third, beating groups like Northridge, ALA, and Johnson Synergy. And Johnson Synergy, is just an amazing prep group. Oh, basically a mixed group at this point. Norris only lost to Bloomington Kennedy and Johnson.
Yeah. I honestly, small field, right? But yeah. I am honestly pretty excited about this one to see how it turns out, because sometimes you get a group going to Fame Nationals where it's like, okay, you were small mixed in your circuit, and I'm sure you had a fun time in Branson over the weekend, but was it really a national finals caliber performance? All four of these groups, I believe three of them are ranked inside our homeroom national show choir rankings right now. But all four of these groups, people forget that Norris beat Gretna East this year.
Yeah.
And that's a very big win to have on your resume. So this one can go literally any direction. I'm super excited to see where it goes.
I hope they enjoy Branson, go-karting, go to Lambert's, get rolls thrown at you. I don't know about duck boats anymore. I know those are kind of like who's getting on a duck boat nowadays, but I hope they have a great time in Branson. It's just one of those weird trips, like it's just an attraction city.
For sure. With that being said, even though these are the last three competitions of the season, we will be back next week. Monday, for Show Choir Nation. We will have some Homie Award news. We see the whiteboard says Homie Award voting 1 week. 1 week. And that is very true. Voting for the Homie Awards will start in 1 week's time. We will go over all the categories, all the nominees next week as well. MJ, thank you so much for coming on tonight and being a trooper through a lot of scenes that you know nothing about.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
As always, have a great Show Choir Saturday, whether you're performing, whether you're spectating, whether you're just following results, and be sure to catch us right back here next week. Have a great evening, everyone.